Hello, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today again for another meditation practice. Today is November 30th, the end of November here in New York, and it snowed a lot yesterday, but today is supposed to be a lot warmer. It's about 30 degrees, so it's kind of cold for most people, but good weather for meditation. All right, so it's important for us to I hope you've been getting some benefit as far as being able to still your thoughts, become more mindful. Uh, it's very interesting that many people talk about enlightenment, and people forget the most essential aspect of enlightenment, which is dhyana. It talks about it in the Lotus Sutra, specifically about dhyana concentrations, and that dhyana is a necessary aspect that we are able to attain through many different practices. And so this video is meant to be a supplement, support to your daily practice. So it's very important that even though you get the benefit of perhaps mindfulness, etc., to deepen that um, and to make it Buddhism, it's very important that you continuously use the building blocks of Buddhism. For Nichiren Buddhism, that would be the Odaimoku and the Lotus Sutra. So again, it's not about intellectual understanding, even though that's fine to study the sutra and understand it within the context of what we think. But the most essential aspect of Buddhism is practice. So as we practice the Dharma, it's important that after we sit in meditation, that you do your morning practice, whatever that may be. Chanting the Daimoku, reading the sutra, etc. Because dhyana allows us to be in a correct state. And then from that state, we can bring in, or how do you say, nourish our Buddha nature. Because if you ask yourself, we know how to nourish all of our bad natures, right? By desire and by action, incorrect action, evil thoughts, etc. But how many people understand how to nourish the positive sides, such as Buddha nature? And it's essential that in your Buddhist practice that you are having the benefit, the change. Sometimes, of course, it is important to stay on a path and challenge that path, which challenges yourself. Not take the easy way and think that, oh, something was said I don't like, or something I read I didn't like, or I didn't understand, or conflict. This is the idea of the secular idea of suffering, is that people are constantly jumping from one thing to another. For instance, meditation, you may think, oh, this is too difficult, it's too hard, so maybe some people have given up after trying this one time. But actually, it's a process. It's a process that we have to be involved in and we have to be dedicated to. So it's important. That's why the idea of bodhicitta, that one must aspire to really want to relieve oneself of suffering. Right? Because there's always that part, which I experienced many times when I was younger, of being okay with the ego and perhaps liking what came from the suffering, right? And then thinking, well, I don't want to lose my personality. I don't want to lose my favorite desire, etc. I don't want that to be diminished. That's all I have. That's truly the idea of suffering. And so on the path of Buddhism, unfortunately, many people fall off. But the important thing is to come back. And then, of course, that should be lessened. But the most essential part to having that change, that's a really amazing change happen, is that one has experiential understanding. So without this dhyana concentration, very difficult to get the benefit of understanding Buddhism, beyond intellectual understanding. Okay, the teachings are wonderful. I agree with the Buddha, etc. That's all up here. But to actually embody and experience what the Buddha has, I think many people believe they can't do it. So therefore, maybe they have a certain avoidance. I know I did when I was younger. Didn't want to accept that aspect. But the important thing about meditation is that when we sit, we can experientially understand in our daily life the differences. That's why at the beginning we assess ourselves, and at the end we assess ourselves. And we should be doing this throughout the day. This is the action of mindfulness. And then administering the medicine necessary, such as using the daimoku, etc., as we have challenges throughout the day. And then in reality, these things change. They lessen. The strength lessens, at least. The situations may not change because I have no power over a lot of things. But my understanding, my reaction, my width of understanding, perhaps changing into wisdom, has grown. So therefore, yeah, things still bother me, but yet they don't stop me. They don't hold me. They come and go just as they should. Uh, in Buddhism, it's very important that we don't have an impractical idea that only good things will come if we practice, and that bad things will be avoided. But in actuality, there are many things we can't change or how do you say control, not change, control. And that Buddhism is our experience, enhancing our experience, our awakening in the daily life. So therefore, very important that, as Master Tiantai said, to stick to a practice. Stick. So if you're practicing here, I hope that you keep the same time at all times. Sometimes it may have to change. Like I do have to go to work soon, so I may have to change the time a little earlier, or keep it the same. I'll have to wait and see. But in reality, we should keep it standardized. Okay. So therefore, let's go ahead and check in with ourselves. How are you feeling today? What's going on? First, let's look at our state of mind. Is our mind clear? Is it cloudy? Or a little numb, perhaps? Or um, groggy? However you may think. Mine at this time seems to be a little on focus. It's the waking up part. It's trying to get your bearings, right? In the morning when you go from sleep to wakefulness. Then let's take a look at our emotions. How do we feel? Do we feel some anxiety? Do we feel some nervousness? Do we have something that we're worried about today that's going to happen? Do you have something big that you have to do today that you've been just worrying about it? Or are you in a good mood? Doesn't have to be negative. Are you relaxed? Perhaps now that we're getting close to the holidays, that you may have some time off to relax and do things you like to do. Let's just check in with that realistically. And again, we're just observing. We're not judging. We're not saying that this is good or bad. We're just simply observing our state. Okay. Then with that, let us observe our bodies. Do we have certain places that are tense or stiff? Does our body feel energized? Does it feel sluggish? Just look at it. Pay attention. Just be aware. Again, not judging. So as we have that, let us now put our hands together in Hokai Join, close to our body, tucking our chin, ears over the shoulders, eyes closed, mouth closed. And then what we're going to do, we're going to do 3 purifying breaths to release this stress, release all this negativity from our body. So we're going to breathe in through our nose and exhale through our mouth. Please follow me. Breathe in, hold, breathe out. Second round. Last round. Good. Then we're going to begin Imagine ourselves sitting as a stone anchor, closing our mouth, now breathing through our nose. As we exhale, we can use the Daimoku Namu Myoho Renge Kyo in our mind to stop our thoughts. And then as we inhale simply observing the breath and our state. Okay, so let us begin. At the sound of the bell, allow your mind to melt into dhyana concentration. As we hear the bell, let us release our concentration, come back to our awareness of our body, our surroundings, sit for a moment and scan. Realize and sit with the state that we find ourselves in. Let us open our hands and move our fingers, our toes a little bit. Come back to awareness of the body, rubbing our hands together. Place them over the eyes, rubbing meridians, the gallbladder, neck, elbow, kidneys. It's important to sit with the state after we practice because we have to become reacquainted with the state. We have to become refamiliarized with the state, aware, because the basic premise of Buddhism is that we become unaware of our natural state. So therefore, we've adopted other unnatural states to ourselves. So in Dhyana meditation, we come to terms with this state from which mindfulness, awareness, etc., originates. Hence, this is a necessity of samadhi, or as we say, kanjin, seeing into the reality of things with a correct mind. This is a necessity. Hence, if one believes that they can practice Buddhism simply by studying, they will be sorely mistaken. Studying encourages us, our brain perhaps, to give some leeway, to accept something, but it's very difficult for it because it doesn't have all of the pieces. It's very limited because it's based on our perhaps personal experience, level of maturity, etc. And if we were to wait till that was correct, we would be unable to attain enlightenment because, as we know, the mind simply processes information. It is not necessarily there to give us pure answers through pure awareness or sensitivity. So therefore, we cultivate this nature called Buddha nature, and then after we come out of dhyana meditation, we release the meditation because we don't stay in that state. That's just for this practice. And we simply observe. Okay? And then we try to carry that with us throughout the day. So as we end, I hope all of you have a wonderful day. Please continue on with yogic practice, which we'll start to teach in the future, and with your daily service or chanting the sutra, etc. So let us put our hands together. Nam-myoho Renge Kyo, Nam-myoho Renge Kyo, Nam-myoho Renge Kyo. Thank you very much, and please have a wonderful day.